This time, Wall Street got it wrong, or at least they aren't farsighted enough to see what is actually happening with Snowflake. Snowflake did their annual report or quarterly report earlier this week, and the stock dropped by 20%. That was a mistake, and it's because they don't recognize exactly what is happening. They don't totally understand how AI works, and Snowflake is on sale, and Snowflake will quite possibly become one of the icons of the future relative to the use of artificial intelligence. And it's all driven by Snowflake's recognition that AI is going to replace human beings, much as the digital revolution of 2000 created a new way for consumers to consume products, to interact in many facets of the world. The key to this is Serdar Remesemi. I know I screwed his name up, but you know who he is. He is, in my mind, he is going to be viewed comparable to Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Sergey and Larry, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg. They are the people who came and taught us how to use digital to make our lives better, to make our worlds more efficient. They taught us that. We adapted to it, and we use then digital to make us more efficient in our world, such as I use digital to communicate with you. I was unable to do that until Google taught me how to do it through YouTube. Well, we have now moved into the era where digital is going to teach us how to compute, and that is to say, it's going to teach us how to replace people using digital to make better decisions. And think of it in this area. In the world of insurance, banking, travel, entertainment, real estate, manufacturing, for every face that you engage in those industries, there's at least 20 people behind doing the support work to make what you want to happen. What Snowflake is going to do is to replace all those people. The decision makers who decided whether or not your insurance claim was valid is going to be eliminated, because all that is going to happen is someone is going to gather a little more data as to what happened to you and your as a result of a tornado, and the decision then will be made through digital analysis rather than human analysis, which will make it much more efficient and which will make it much less fraud and whatever involved in it, and will make it work better. The reason Sridhar is such a key player is he was with Google for 15 years, and he was in charge of Google AdWords. And if you think about how Google AdWords changed the advertising industry, that we don't have advertising agencies anymore. The Google knows more about someone's customers than the manufacturers, the sellers, whatever. They know more about us than our spouses know about us, okay? So they have replaced the advertising industry, as has Mark with Facebook, as has Jeff with Amazon. They've replaced the advertising industry. And Sridhar is the guy who did it. He took it from a $1.5 billion industry to a $100 billion industry. And then he woke up one day and formed a company that said, I can do this in every aspect of commerce. And he formed a company, and 8 months ago, that company was bought by Snowflake, and they are now going to replace man with digital. Okay, so with that being said, then why did their price go down 20% this week? Well, because Wall Street got it wrong. Understand, they projected that they were going to grow their revenues, and they also said they were going to add 1,000 employees. Okay, Snowflake doesn't make any money. Okay, in fact, they had revenues of $2.8 billion. They had expenses of $2.99 billion. So they had a loss of $20 million. They then came out and said that we're going to spend this next year an extra $50 million on GPU chips. We're going to spend another $10 million on cost of product. And then we're going to spend $30 million in increased compensation for our sales force. So they're increasing their expenses by $90 million, but not increasing a comparable amount in sales. Okay? Then, as I said, they said they're going to raise their employees by 1,000. Currently, they employ 5,884 people. So that's an increase in their sales force by 17%. What's happening? They're going to war. They're basically saying we're going to restructure our company and we're going to spend what we have to take us into the next generation of artificial intelligence running businesses. So all the data, I used to be in the financial advisor business. We had armies of people behind us making decisions based on the data that we fed them. Many times they made wrong decisions, and thus people didn't have their retirement funds grow like they wanted to, because individuals were making human decisions. Snowflake is going to take that out of the equation. They are going to have those decisions made by the most intelligent data available to mankind and made expediently. You won't talk to a person on the telephone. You will get on the phone and they will ask you what language you want to speak, and they will take on the conversation. This will make everything more efficient. Think about if you put that into our government, where there's so much graft, where there's so much influence being peddled, and take all those decisions out of human being hands and make them those decisions based on what's best for our country, our citizens, and therefore they make good decisions. I can remember one time that I read something that a toilet seat on a fighter on a cargo plane cost something like $10,000. Well, that's because all the graft that's all involved in it, all the paperwork that goes. If you eliminate all those people touching that paper, all the influence that says, "Hey, you'll find a new shotgun in your car if you buy the toilet seat from me," You'll see that this is a major change in how commerce will take place in the world in the future. And Wall Street didn't understand it. All Wall Street saw was we're going to increase our expenses by $90 million. We're going to have a 6% increase in our revenue, which will not offset that. And then we're going to hire 1,000 new people. Well, guess what's going to happen? Who are those 1,000 people? They're engineers. They're the people who are going to build the system to replace the other 5,884 people that they currently have on staff. That's what's happening in our world. In our world, and Wall Street doesn't recognize, Wall Street does not understand artificial intelligence. If they did, they would be rewarding Snowflake with a 20% bump. Okay? We saw today that the computer infrastructure is driving the economy right now. We saw Dell go up 30% because they had some extraordinary orders because Jensen sold them some GPUs to put into their computers so that the shortage of computers from Supermicro Computer could be picked up in part by Dell. That's why Dell is up. once that's done, that's done. But what comes behind it is the change in our world. And the movement away from man making good, bad, indifferent, biased decisions to good decisions made by compute. And Snowflake had the insight and the courage to go and hire the man who can make it happen. I can't pronounce his name. I won't try to. You can read it. Snowflake is up a little bit today. I'll buy more. Because the world doesn't understand that this may take a year, but that man is going to be standing next to Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Sergey and Larry, Jeff Bezos, and Mark. He is one of those who will be recognized as innovators for the future. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm a retired financial advisor. There's a lot of things I don't do well, but what I've learned I can do well is connect the dots. I can look at something and say, that doesn't make quite sense to me. So if it doesn't make sense, what am I missing? And I listened to this call the first time, and I believe that Frank Slotman got pushed to the side. I don't think he did. After I listened to it a third and a fourth time, Frank recognized he did what he could, but he needed to pass the baton on, and he took the data and taught people how to interpret it. And now someone has to come in and teach data how to replace the people, how data can think like humans to make decisions without bias, without prejudice, and make good, sound decisions that create efficiency and economy, that reduce inflation rather than increasing prices, that brings harmony into a very difficult world right now. I'm really kind of scared of what is festering under the surface. This is a positive thing. We've got to look for positive things. You dig in. You learn who Sridhar Ramaswamy is and what his pedigree is, and you see if you don't believe with me, Wall Street got it wrong. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the chief, I guess, of the Best of Us Investors Tribe. Later this afternoon, this is Friday, I will have this discussion with my tribe members. We have a stock talk every Friday, a Zoom call, which if you can't make the call, you can access the recording of it. And we'll discuss this in detail. And they'll have an understanding, then they'll ask questions, and we'll hash it out. How did I come across this? Well, when I saw the drop in the stock, I went to the earnings call. And then Brian is a young man from Nashville. He's a school teacher, high school teacher and coach. And he says, Kerry, do you remember I sent you a video of Shadar being interviewed on CNBC about a year ago when he made the transition into Snowflake. And I said, yeah, I do remember it, but I need to go back and watch the video. That's how I learn. That's how I stay ahead. I have a tribe. I have a group of people who subscribe, who pay dues, okay? And we work together to make better investment decisions. If you'd like some help, get on the bus. We have a discount, by the way, of 50%. You'll find that in the description.